we're doing it, did you explain the rounds?
Yeah, just a round of 2 questions.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Collin Arnold, Director of the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. Thank you for allowing me to come out and talk about obviously pretty serious weather situation we had move through the area last night. First of all, I want to say thank you to our media that's represented here for getting the word out and continuing the coverage overnight last night, because my team was able to watch, and kind of, when it comes to these types of weather situations, we really like to coordinate and kind of collaborate with all of our media partners. You got the word out too about lifting parking restrictions earlier on in the evening. That decision was made based on obviously more of a rain threat that fortunately didn't really materialize. The story last night, I think, obviously was wind. As far as damage we observed around the city, obviously we had 3 injuries from an overturned recreational vehicle on a France Road near the Seabrook Marina, where that RV park is there. Obviously, I think it goes without saying that in these types of weather situations, trailers and RVs, folks, using those or staying in those, obviously should take precautions, and I think that goes without saying tonight as well. There is the potential that we'll have the same type of winds and moving through the area, although the Weather Service is a little bit, the confidence isn't totally there about the same situation as we had last night. We're obviously preparing for that. Those 3 persons that I've learned from EMS or transported are all stable and should make full recovery. But obviously that's a very scary situation to be caught in those winds in a vehicle like that and have that overturn. As far as damage around the city, we initially, when I talked to Parks and Parkways early this morning, they were really, as soon as the weather passed, they had an on-duty crew working from 1 a.m. on to address tree emergencies. There were no substantial tree emergencies that I was informed of. They started off with about 12 that they had observed and had been reported. But obviously, as daylight came and as people checked out their yards and their property, we were up to about 50 tree-related calls. And that could be anything from an actual tree down in a roadway or in a right-of-way to something like branches and larger branches in the roadway or on neutral ground. So they're addressing those, and I have not heard any challenges with that or any other issues. Our Department of Property Management was out early this morning. We do know we have damage to the 7th District Police Station on Reed Road. It appears to be roof-related damage, possibly flashing from the wind. And along with that, some electrical issues and some water intrusion. We also had a report of some air conditioning or HVAC issues with 3 buildings, one of those being the 7th District Station, one being the Real-Time Crime Center, and the other being the Allie Mae multi-use center in Central City. So I don't have an update on it, but what I was told was that they were hoping that some of those probably just needed to be reset. But if there is more substantial repairs that need to occur, they're going to do that. Sewage and Water Board had constant contact with them from yesterday early in the morning all the way through the evening. Again, this wasn't really a rain event as much as it was a wind event. Rain ranged anywhere from about less than 1/4 of an inch in some areas of the city. Some areas of the city were dry, and then up to probably about an inch was the most that I saw, utilizing our both Sewage and Water Board information from their pumping stations and also weatherwise, weatherwise.nola.gov, our city-installed weather stations around the city, which has just been really helpful for us to be able to, really keep an eye on the weather, both, looking out and looking forward, and then also when we're in these types of situations, being able to have real-time information about rainfall rates, the winds last night we observed. Obviously, we got the report from MSY that they had a gust at about 84 miles an hour, but we were able to watch and track winds through the city at our 26 different weather stations. And what we were seeing was along Chef Highway and into the east, indeed, gusts of about 71 miles an hour was what we saw. And we saw sustained winds typically around in the city itself, probably around 20 to 30, and then out into the east and some of the more outlying areas of the city proper, sometimes up into the 50s as far as sustained winds. And again, it was a very tight and compact storm line that moved through, and really from about 11:30 to a little bit after midnight seemed to be the kind of about 40 to 50 minutes of obviously very extreme winds. With Sewage and Water Board, though, we did confirm with them that they have 89 of 99 pumps working. They have turbine 5 and 3 EMDs online. They have turbine 6, which is limited right now, and we are all anxiously awaiting turbine 4 and the repairs to that prior to June 1st is what we're hoping for hurricane season. I think I've pretty much covered everything. No reports from NOPD of any security issues or anything like that, and great work by the New Orleans Fire Department and New Orleans EMS with the rescues that took place with that RV on France Road. So with that, I can open it up to any questions that you might have.
We can start on the same, Sophie.
Thank you for the information. Were there any particular preparations made today by any crews, clearing catch basins or removing debris or anything in advance of, preparing for tonight's storm?
Yeah, obviously, same preparations that are similar to yesterday, and really every day. They were out today. I believe they had extra crews working to do catch basin cleaning. We obviously encourage the public, if they see a catch basin in their neighborhood or around their residence that needs to be addressed, please call 311 right away so we know where those are. But pretty much same preparations, and I think that that held us in good stead yesterday. We obviously stay very close with Sewage and Water Board about any issues that they might be having, and it does factor into our decision to lift neutral ground parking. We understand that with the kind of precarious nature of the power situation right now, with lack of turbine 4 and the redundancy that we need, especially in a wind event, we're a little bit quicker to lift the parking restrictions so people will move their vehicles. And that's really because it could be a moderate rain event, but if you have a power issue at Sewage and Water Board, pumps go down, it could exacerbate or delay that water being, even when there's a lot of water coming in, it can delay that water being removed, and that can be the difference between someone getting water in their vehicle, which is a huge inconvenience and obviously something we like to try and avoid. So what I will say is that we do plan on lifting parking restrictions tonight at 5 p.m. And we'll lift that throughout the night till 8 a.m. tomorrow, I believe, is what we'll do. But does that answer the question? Thanks.
Sure.
So just when it comes to what we should be expecting tonight, if you could talk a little bit more about that and then what residents should do to prepare. I know it's tonight, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the public's really good about heeding warnings. We sent out a few NOLA ready alerts last night, besides parking, when the winds really started peaking. And when we started seeing the Weather Service amplifying that extreme wind threat and dangerous wind threat, we wanted to make sure that the public knows. I mean, it's pretty simple. Stay connected. Stay connected with your favorite station. Stay connected with us by texting NOLA Ready, one word, to 77295. You'll get those weather alerts and warnings as we put them out. We really just want people to really limit their movement as much as possible. And if there is anything that that we can look at from a positive way in this is that this will be overnight. Most people will be in their homes. You're going to be safe in your homes with this type of event. And just really the most dangerous part will be if you're out on the roadways or outside. Now, what I will say is we do have Bayou Boogaloo this weekend, and I should have mentioned it. We were in contact with them last night. They kept down some of the tents and things that they were working on in anticipation of these winds, particularly once the tornado watch came out earlier in the evening. And they did sustain some damage, minor damage to some of the lighter type pop-up tents. But I know that they were not anticipating any issues with opening on schedule. So, there will be an event this weekend, special event. Again, I think people should use their judgment, but for the most part, this should be gone tomorrow by, I've seen anywhere from 10 a.m. to about 1 p.m. And after that, we're going to have pretty clear skies and warmer weather for the rest, probably for the rest of the week. And so I think that just taking a lot of caution tonight, particularly from, about 7 o'clock on, I think is the best thing you can do, and just stay weather aware and pay attention to whatever types of messaging you're getting, either from your local media, from us, or from the Weather Service.
I know the past two events, we've sort of been lucky as far as we haven't really had any significant flooding throughout the city. Is that a concern going into tomorrow morning, that the city could potentially see some flooding because we have had some water? And also, I know Mayor Cantrell's still out of town. Have you all had communication with her, and if so, what has that been?
Constantly, usually by text, sometimes by phone. We've talked. I've talked with the entire public safety team as well. Always concerned about flooding. Even last night, when it looked more like wind, you're always concerned about flooding. In this job in the city of New Orleans, and I'm concerned about that tonight as well. I think it shows kind of the difficulty in trying to look at these weather systems and predict what they're going to do. Every situation's different. Last night, I think that the speed of this system moving through is what prevented us from having the street flooding and torrential rain type issues. However, if you take the same system, slow it down, turn it a little bit, and it starts just kind of regenerating over itself over you, you see what we had, just weeks ago. So those are the things we're always really trying to pay attention to, and what we want to communicate with Sewage and Water Board, and I have a pretty direct line with Steve Nelson over there. We frequently talk about neutral ground parking restrictions. We talk about what their status is as far as power, and it's definitely something that we are concerned about with every rain event.
Of course, with the news of the RVs flipping, a lot of mobile home residents, I'm sure, are going to be pretty concerned with this storm and the news of heavy winds. Is there any preparations for them that they should know of, such as maybe shelters that y'all have open, any preparations that y'all have made?
We'll have a facility on standby. At this time, we don't have plans on opening a shelter. I think that the people that are in the trailers that we know about, and particularly, I did not hear of any trailer issues. I did hear of an issue of an RV last night, a recreational vehicle. If you're in a recreational vehicle, you may want to, just take extra caution tonight, particularly overnight with where you park, and whether or not you want to be in that vehicle overnight. And so I think that's. I think that just using caution and common sense is probably the best thing. But having said that, if we receive any calls of people needing assistance or anything like that, we can work to open up a facility to assist them if necessary.
Just one more question. In terms of the biggest concerns moving into tonight, obviously, from yesterday, y'all have a basic understanding of what y'all need to look out for the most. What is it that y'all find, is the biggest concern, and what y'all need to really focus on for tonight?
My biggest concern, one is flooding, and two would be power. And I did fail to mention, we had good communication with Entergy New Orleans, as we always do. At the height of this last night, we had about 3,000 without power. The last I checked, just before I came down here, it was around 500. And those were anticipated to be restored by 6 p.m. this evening. My concern is power. In a lot of these cases, particularly with the winds, you have a lot of people that are dependent on power. Power runs our lives. You see what happened west of us in Jefferson Parish. Obviously, they had some significant power challenges, as well as the North Shore. And then, my goodness, you look at Houston this morning, and they wake up with almost 1 million people without power. And it's that's just, kind of brings back Ida memories about power. And so, trying to, communicate and coordinate with our power utility providers, as well as the Sewage and Water Board, is something that we, that we really value, and something that that's what gives us the concern, I think, universally, is street flooding, and power issues.
Since WGNO started the second round question.
Honestly, I think I'm good.
Okay,
Sophie.
sure.
So the turbine 6 is limited, I think was the word that you used. Can you explain what?
You can, I think I'd prefer that you spoke to Sewage and Water Board for the technical details about it, but I know that it's available for use, but they're kind of limiting its use right now just because of an issue, but it is available.
Actually, I did
Go
think
ahead,
of
go ahead,
one
Chris.
quick follow-up. For the facilities that you mentioned that sustained damage, are they still usable at this point?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
You said something about one of those facilities being a crime.
The Real-Time Crime Center had an air conditioning issue, and to be honest, I wasn't able to follow up with them right before I came down here. That was this morning. I have not heard from them today, which typically when buildings are warm, you get phone calls, and so that may have been resolved. Like I said, our property management director relayed to me that a lot of times it's simply when there's, maybe when power goes on and off and flickers on and off, that sometimes they just have to go in and flip a switch, and it can restore those systems. Sometimes it's a little bit more than that. I think with the 7th District Police Station, there was, some roof damage that they were concerned about, but we'll find out more about that.
Any last follow-up?
Were y'all able to tarp that roof?
Yeah, they had contractors out there this morning addressing it, so.
Shay, Sophie? You okay? Great.
All
So
right.
that concludes our.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much
it.
for coming.